Good afternoon. My name is Lara Wijkan Bijasin, together with my group mates Ali Hanata, Otto Narhata, and Kalipa Almira. We are the group 7. Gender-based violence. Gender-based violence may include physical, sexual, emotional, psychological, and financial abuse, or threats of abuse. People of all genders, sexual orientations, and gender identities may experience gender-based violence, but women and girls are impacted the most. Gender-based violence is a serious and widespread problem rooted in the unequal power relationship between men and women. It refers to any harmful act, either physical, sexual or psychological, or economic, that is directed at a person because of their gender. This form of violence is often used to control, intimidate, or harm individuals, particularly women and girls. Men and diverse people can also be affected. GBV, or gender-based violence, is driven by cultural beliefs, social norms, etc. Root causes of gender-based violence. So, the first one is gender inequality. Gender inequality, this is the fundamental root of GBV. It refers to the unequal treatment and opportunities for individuals based on their gender. In many societies, men are given more power, status, and control than women, which foster environments where violence against women and gender minorities is tolerated or excused. Itong gender inequalities, ito na yung pagkakaiba ng pagtrato sa tao base sa kung ano yung gender identity nila. Bakla, tomboy, babae, lalaki. So, example na lang yan is yung halimbawa sa isang company, yung merong lalaki na na-promote kesa dun sa babae, even though yung babae yung more qualified dun sa trabaho, even though yung babae yung mas qualified dun sa trabaho, hindi siya na-promote kasi yung boss doon sa company is naniniwala siya na ang men is better leaders compared sa mga babae. Yung ganong klaseng mindset is mag-form na siya ng abuse, controlling abuse. Number 2 is patriarchal social structures. This is a system where men hold primary power in roles of political leadership, moral authority, and control of property. This structure marginalizes women and other genders, reinforcing the belief that men are superior and entitled to dominate others, including through violence. So, yun na nga, in some families kasi, merong mga culture, paniniwala naman nila na, in some families, mas nasusunod yung mga tatay. Yung mga tatay yung pwedeng gumawa ng desisyon dun sa mga anak nila na babae, kung saan ipapakasal, di ba mostly nangyayari yan. So, itong control na to is it can lead to emotional or even physical abuse. If yung woman is hindi siya makaka-create ng kanyang own decision or own choices. So the next, number 3 is harmful cultural and traditional practices. Certain customs and traditions perpetuate violence such as child marriage, dowry system, honor killing, and female genital mutilation. These are often justified as cultural norms but are fundamentally based on control over women's bodies and lives. So, ito lang mga cultural or mga traditional na pinapractice. So, for example is like, ikaw sa babae is finors ka ng father mo o ng family mo ikasal, even though hindi ka pa sa tamang age. Even though wala siya sa tamang age, and wala siyang magagawa kasi yun yung beliefs ng family niya. It is a tradition in their family. So kahit gusto niyang magtapos mag-aral, early marriage is often kung bakit nagli-lead ng abuse or loss of freedom ang isang tao or isang bata. Mostly, nangyayari ito sa mga provinces.
Hello everyone, I'm Alia Natael from the Group 7. So this is my assigned topic. Lack of legal protection and weak law enforcement. When laws do not adequately protect victims or are not enforced, it allows perpetrators to act with impunity. Survivors may also fear reporting violence due to stigma, corruption, or lack of trust in the justice system. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is ito na yung kakulangan sa proteksyon ng batas at mahinang pagpapatupad. So, marami po sa mga biktima ng karahasan ay hindi na po protektahan ng batas. So, minsan may batas nga pero hindi naman seryosong na ipapatupad. So, ang mga abusado ay patuloy sa kanilang ginagawa kasi pakiramdam nila wala namang mangyayari kahit mahuli sila. So, halimbawa may babae na nagsumbong ng pang-aabuso sa barangay pero imbis na seryosohin, sinabihan lang siya na pag-usapan nyo na lang yan sa bahay. So dahil dito, nawala ang tiwala niya sa sistema. So bukod dito, takot ding magsumbong ang mga biktima dahil sa stigma o panghuhusga. Minsan sinisisi pa ang biktima sa nangyari sa kanya, kaya mas pinipili na lang nilang manahimik. Next is economic dependence. Economic disempowerment limits a person's ability to escape abusive relationships. When women or gender minorities lack access to financial resources, housing, or employment, they may feel trapped in violent situations. So, ang ibig sabihin naman nito is ito na yung pag-asa sa pananalapi o economic dependence. So, ang isang dahilan ay ang kakulangan ng sariling pagkakakitaan ng mga biktima. So, kapag ang isang tao ay umaasa lamang sa kanyang kapareha or kapartner para sa pera, pagkain o tirahan, mahirap para sa kanya na umalis kahit pa siya ay inaabuso na. So halimbawa, may isang ina na gustong umalis sa asawa niyang nananakit pero wala siyang trabaho o sariling bahay. Iniisip niya saan siya pupunta, paano ang mga anak niya, kaya kahit masakit, nananatili siya sa ganoong sitwasyon. So ito ang dahilan kung bakit kailangan din nating palakasin ang suporta para sa kabuhayan ng mga kababaihan at iba pang biktima upang mabigyan sila ng kakayahang makalaya.
Hi everyone, my name is Norhata Uto and my topic is normalize of violence. In many cultures, violence is seen as a private matter or a normal part of relationships. This normalization is reinforced by media, community attitude, and even the family structure that excuse or hide abuse, discouraging victims from the seeking help. Normalize of violence. Sa maraming kultura, ang karahasan ay itinuturing na normal o isang pribadong usapin, lalo na sa mga relasyon. Dahil dito, nagiging pangkaraniwang ito sa paningin ng lipunan, pinapadala ito ng media, opinion o komunidad sa mismong miyembro ng pamilya na minsan ay pinagtatakpan o pinapabayaan ang mga abuso. Ang ganitong nakaraan ay nakaka-discourage sa mga biktima na humihingi ng tulong. Conflict, war, and displacement. It's times of war, of crisis, social protection and breakdowns of GBT often increase rape and also use of weapon war of refugees and the displacement people, especially women and girls, are the higher risk of trafficking and sexual violence and exploitation. Conflict, war, and displacement. Sa panahon ng digmaan o krisis, bumabagsak ang mga proteksyon ng lipunan, kaya lumalala ang mga gender-based violence. GBV, ginagamit ang rape bilang sandata o digmaan at ating refugee o mga taong nawala ng tirahan, lalo na ang mga kabataan ay mas nagiging vulnerable sa trafficking, sexual violence.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Almira Kalipa and this is my topic. Substance abuse and mental health issues. While not direct causes, issues like alcoholism and untreated mental illness can exacerbate violent behavior, especially in environments already influenced by gender inequality and social stressors. So, substance abuse and mental health is ito yung bagamat hindi tuwirang sanhi ng karahasan at ang pagkalulong sa alak o droga. Pati na rin ang mga hindi naagapan na mental health issues ay maaaring magpalala o maglala ng maharahas na pag-uugali, lalo na itong lumalala sa mga lugar kung saan laganap ang gender inequality and social stressors gaya ng kahirapan o diskriminasyon sa ganitong mga sitwasyon at mas nagiging mapanganib ang mga tao at mas madaling maganap ang pang-aabuso.
Lack of education and awareness. Without proper education about human rights, consent, gender equality, and healthy relationships, people may not recognize abusive behavior or know how to prevent or respond to it. This affects both victims and perpetrators. So, lack of education and awareness, kung walang sapat na edukasyon tungkol sa karapatang pangtao, consent at gender equality, ito ay maraming tao ang hindi makakakilala ng abusive behavior. Maaari rin silang hindi marunong kung paano ito iiwasan o paano tutugon kung sila ay nabiktima, at hindi lang mga biktima ang naapektuhan, pati na rin ang mga posibleng maging salarin dahil sa kakulangan ng kaalaman at kamalayan.
What relevant Philippine law is suitable? First is Republic Act No. 9710 by Magna Carta of Women 2009, a comprehensive law that promotes and protects women's rights and ensures gender equality, mandates government agencies to implement gender-responsive programs and services. Next is Republic Act No. 11313 Safe Spaces Act or Bawal Bastos Law 2019, covers all forms of gender-based sexual harassment in public spaces, workplaces, schools, and online, expands protection to all genders and mandates educational campaigns and grievance mechanism.
Republic Act No. 7877, Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995, penalized sexual harassment in the workplace, education, and training environments, requires institutions to establish an internal mechanism for complaints. Ito ay batas na naglalayong pigilan ang sexual harassment lalo na sa trabaho, paaralan at mga training centers. Halimbawa, kung may boss na pilit nagpaparamdam o nanghihipo sa empleyada niya at sinasabi na huwag kang magsumbong baka mawalan ka ng trabaho, ito ay malinaw na sexual harassment. Ang batas na ito ay nagsasabi na ang mga opisina, paaralan at institusyon ay kailangang magtatag ng proseso kung saan pwedeng magsumbong ang mga biktima ng confidential at ligtas. Next is Republic Act Number 8353, the Anti-Rape Law of 1997. Redefines rape as a crime against persons, not just chastity, and includes acts beyond penal vaginal intercourse, recognize marital rape, and provides legal redress for all victims. Ang batas na ito ay binago ang dating konsepto ng rape. So dati ang rape ay tinitignan lang bilang paglabag sa puri o virginity. Pero ngayon, kinikilala na ito bilang karahasan sa katawan, damdamin at dignidad ng tao. Halimbawa, kung ang isang babae ay pinilit makipagtalik ng kanyang mister kahit ayaw niya, ito ay tinatawag na marital rape at ito ay isang krimen ayon sa batas. Ibig sabihin, kahit mag-asawa, kung walang pahintulot, ito pa rin ay rape. Ang batas na ito ay isang mahalagang hakbang para maprotektahan ang lahat ng biktima, babae man, lalaki, bata o LGBTQ.